Welcome back to today's Daily English Look. We're going to start today not with, dry economics, but with pure retail extravagance.
It's quite a story.
Yeah, so there's a shopping center in Nanjing, Deji Plaza. It might have been the highest grossing mall in the world last year.
The numbers are staggering. 25 billion yuan, that's what, $3.5 billion US dollars?
Exactly. And you'll never guess one of its main attractions.
I've heard this. It's the toilets.
It's the toilets. Spread over 6 floors, sparkling gold designs, neon lights, and I love this detail, a grand piano just sitting there on one of the levels.
And people travel for this. I mean, they come for hours from manufacturing hubs like Hefei just for that immersive experience. It suggests there's this powerful, latent desire for quality.
Right. But here's the mission for our deep dive today. Deji is, it's a total anomaly. National consumer sentiment is low, retail growth is slowing down.
It's a real paradox.
So the question is, can the Communist Party's strategy, which is all about increasing the quality of supply, more Deji-like experiences, can that actually unlock consumer spending? Or is the problem much, much deeper?
And that's the central tension, isn't it? Officials are convinced the Chinese consumer has what they call latent demand.
Latent demand?
Yeah. They look at the incredibly high excess savings and they argue that people are basically just waiting for better things to buy.
So the government's plan from November 26th is basically their answer to that. It's a blueprint for fixing what they see as a supply shortage.
Exactly.
So what does this better supply actually look like according to the state?
Well, it reads like a retail consultant's dream. They're talking about experiential shopping venues, making them easier to get to from residential areas.
And more variety, I saw.
A ton of variety. Things like pop-up stores, special outlets for anime, for games, for esports. And they even mentioned featuring cute goods like those Pop Mart Labubu dolls.
Huh. It's very specific. But what's the real motive here?
Now that's the key insight. This supply-side focus, it's strategically designed to protect their existing growth model.
Meaning manufacturing.
It's always about manufacturing. Officials see that as China's engine, and they really want to avoid any difficult measures that might shift resources away from the factories. This is consumption that's structured to channel spending right back into those industrial sectors.
Like they did with the household appliance trade-in programs.
It's the same playbook.
Okay, so that makes sense from their perspective. Keep the factories humming. But the sources we're looking at are pretty clear that this whole approach is, confusing the symptoms for the disease.
Right. Experts like Zhu Tian are basically saying it's a major mistake to confuse broad consumer weakness for just a lack of shiny objects to buy.
Because the quality is already there, isn't it?
The quality of local Chinese brands has already gone up so much in recent years, but consumption is still lagging behind. So if the problem really was just latent demand, waiting for better products, spending should have picked up by now.
Since it hasn't, the real culprits must be somewhere else.
And they're structural. Another expert, Wu Xiaoqi, points right at weak employment and job insecurity. I mean, you're not going to spend if you're worried about your job next month.
Of course not. And then there's the property crisis.
That's been absolutely toxic for sentiment. As home values have dropped, even the rich feel poorer. It creates this very real sense of needing to hoard cash just in case.
So you have this huge mismatch. The government is focused on, grand pianos and bathrooms.
While experts are saying what's actually needed is something like 4 trillion yuan of direct consumer stimulus just to jumpstart demand, the scale of that disconnect is just massive.
So to sum it up, we have China trying to fix these deep structural issues, job insecurity, falling property values, by focusing on market aesthetics, on gleaming high-end supply.
The current approach keeps the manufacturers happy, but it completely fails to address the consumer's fundamental loss of confidence.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to chew on. If the state is just unwilling to implement direct consumer stimulus because it feels it must protect manufacturing at all costs, what else could they do? What non-manufacturing focused improvements beyond just prettier stores could realistically ease the huge economic pressure from weak employment and the property crisis, a massive challenge? All right, that's all for today's episode. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, save, and follow. Your support is the motivation that drives my progress.